Thank you, Rick, for that beautiful song. I am delighted to see you. I just don't want to be delighted to see you, but I'm so happy to see you all. To our visitors, we have a Westmark Church. We would like to welcome you. Thank you very much for joining us here. Before I preach, let me just take this opportunity to thank the people that have come to help us during the work being last Sunday. They were there. They're wearing their uniform. It says in front of the t-shirts, SDA, sitting down always. So maybe you have noticed, our church is very clean. Look at the carpet, it's almost flawless. The washrooms, the sinks, they're very clean. A while ago, I don't know now, but if you came in early, you have, maybe you have noticed that everything, everywhere within the church is so clean. In fact, the stock rooms, you check the stock rooms. I noticed some young people who were there playing the piano, practicing some songs inside the stock room. Wow, that was great. Look at these people who did that. Sitting down always. Group. There you go. There you go. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Maybe next time we will do another word meet, and that will be outside the church. Last Sunday, as I was thinking of what to preach this Sunday, I was a little bit confused because of the two very important events that we're going to have today. Will I be preaching something related to ordination, like humility, like leadership? Or will I be preaching something about baptism? Because we'll be having our baptism after the short sermon. So I was praying and praying. And then I got this. Why not tomorrow? Shall we pray before? Father in heaven, thank you so much for your love. Thank you for your protection. Thank you for inviting us to study your word. We ask for your spirit to help us now, Lord. So this I pray. Friends, the Bible is saturated. It's filled with the sense of genuine urgency, most of which are related to these eschatological events or the end time events. But what we're going to look at this morning is something about personal urgency that is not related to any eschatological event. This kind of urgency burns in most pages of the scriptures. They are all pointing to the present. They all are saying the equivalent of now, today, and this moment. If you will notice, friends, each of these passages are insisting that we are not to procrastinate, that we are not to wait, that we are not to linger, but rather we have to repent, we need to return, and we need to reconcile ourselves with our Maker and our God. So in a very limited time, we're going to be talking about this biblical sense of urgency this morning. We're going to consider 4 passages. How many passages? 4 passages, and see their biblical perspective on the idea of urgency. Why such urgency? Why not tomorrow? Why today? So let's begin with Joshua chapter 24. If you have your Bibles with you, please open it on the 24th chapter of the book of Joshua. Joshua chapter 24. Many of you are very familiar with this story. Joshua is soon to die. He gathered the children of Israel into the valley of Shechem. He has laid before them the book of the law and the covenant that they have made with the God. And we know that this chapter records this farewell address. With the first section, of course, he recounts to them all the mighty things that God has done for his people. He has affirmed that God has given them this great land, the land of Canaan. He told them that it was God who made it possible for them to possess the land. And then we come to verse 14 and the very familiar passage in verse 15. Look at this. Verse 14 says, "Now therefore, fear the Lord, serve him in sincerity and in truth, and put away the gods which your fathers served on the other side of the river and in Egypt. Serve the Lord." Verse 15, "And if it seems evil to you to serve the Lord, choose for yourselves this day whom you will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the river, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land you dwell. But as for me and my what? House, we will serve the Lord." And so, friends, Joshua here, he implores, he pleads, he exhorts, he's saying, choose ye this day. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, not next year. He says, now is the moment. He is communicating to them with a sense of what? With a sense of urgency. Choose you this day. Here on his deathbed, Joshua calls the people of God to make their commitment. He calls them to fear the Lord and serve him with all faithfulness. He calls them to throw away all the other gods and make a choice to serve God alone. And that they must make their choice that day. And after this, the next thing we know is that Joshua died. I don't know, friends, if you feel the sense of urgency that saturates the passage. God asked Joshua to get the people to make their decision right away. He said, that day you have to make a choice today, not tomorrow. And then we find another passage that carries a similar sense of urgency. I know this is also familiar to you. The story is in the 18th chapter of the book of 1 Kings. So turn your Bibles on chapter 18 of 1 Kings. Elijah had been hiding for 3.5 years. Now God commanded him to present himself to King Ahab. And in the chapter we find the great showdown on top of Mount Carmel. We pick up the high point of the story in verse 21. Look at this. And Elijah came unto all the people and said, how long halt ye between two opinions? If the Lord be God, follow him. But if Baal, then follow him. And the people answered him not a word. You might love this. Elijah says, you're stalling, you're faltering, you're wavering, you're choosing your own options, you're hesitating. Stop it, he said. If the Lord is God, serve him. If Baal is God, then what? Serve him. Stop wavering. Why hesitate? Why falter? Why are you doing nothing? You have to make your mind. You know, Ronald Reagan, right? He had an aunt that was very, very kind to him, and she liked him very much. One time, she took him to the shoemaker and told the shoemaker that she wanted him to make a pair of custom shoes for young Ronald Reagan. And as soon